All right, back with another mini coaching session with a real small business owner like you, where we took a look at their website for possible improvements, and most of these improvements are very likely to apply to your situation as well. In this episode, we talk about how to establish yourself as a trusted mentor, how to get started with a profitable sales funnel, and using quizzes as a lead magnet, and a whole lot more, so stick around. If you want to transform your website into a customer or lead generation machine, I'll show you all my best tips, tactics, and secrets to get there fast. Let's dive in. All right, today we have Ramona Foster on with us from RamonaFoster.com. Welcome, Ramona.
Hello, Wes. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I'm glad to have you on with us. So, just to get started, why don't you tell me and everybody who's watching, what you do and who do you help?
So I am a social media trainer and consultant here in the Washington, D.C. area. I help small businesses and nonprofits to learn how to leverage their business on social media. So I teach all the social media platforms, email marketing, online marketing, and personal branding. And then I do consultations as well.
Okay. So before we dive into your website, I just want to kind of clarify a few things. So right now on your website, I'm seeing two different areas. I'm seeing your social media marketing kind of training, and then I'm seeing speaking gigs. And are you doing both?
Yes.
Okay. Which is more of your focus?
Training.
Like one-on-one or with businesses?
So group trainings as well as one-on-one trainings.
Okay, cool. So what's your biggest problem today, Ramona, that I can help you out with?
So I think my biggest issue is learning how to do like the drip campaigns or some type of automated email.
Well, let me ask you this. So what is your current lead magnet? Do you have anything that's kind of enticing those emails to begin with?
So I use Constant Contact. They have an automated email system, but my issue is trying to figure out what that flow looks like.
The first thing, of course, that has to happen is you need to get people into your Constant Contact, and that's usually done with a lead magnet, of course, some kind of a freebie that you offer in exchange for that email address. So do you have that part in place yet?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, that's step 1 through 5 right there. So, let's talk about that a little bit. What kind of questions do your clients ask you all the time? What's their biggest need?
Well, of course, because it's social media, how do I get followers?
Yeah.
You kind of have to let them know that it's not all about the followers, right? So, that's the biggest issue they have, and they're primarily because a lot of them are new businesses. Their biggest issue is where should I be on social media, and then how do I use it to engage my customers?
Okay, I think I've got a perfect thing for you then, Ramona. I haven't done this myself yet, but I know it's a big growing trend, and that is the idea of a quiz as a lead magnet. Because people are asking you all the time, which platform should I be focusing on? If you could set up an online quiz that answers that question for them based on information they input, so they do all that. Let's say it's a series of 5 to 10 questions. They answer everything multiple choice, and then in order to see the results, they need to give you their email address. Now you've got someone in your Constant Contact that you can start that email marketing campaign with. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So is that something you think you could do? There's a lot of there's a lot of online software that's dedicated just for that purpose, to make those online quizzes. So that would be your first step. And then from there, do you have a sense of what to do after you get people on your list, or is that you also need help with that afterward?
So no, actually I blog, so I do a blog post once a week, and then I also do an email campaign once a week.
Okay.
So, and I have a list of 4,000 people. So I actually am able to build a list when I'm, speaking at events and that kind of thing.
Okay. And that, that's great, but it's hard to scale that, So, and by the way, do you help people remotely, or is it just in the DC area?
Oh, remotely. So I actually have international clients too. So, yeah.
Okay. So you do it all kind of online.
Yes.
Or over the phone. Okay, cool. So in that case, there's no reason why you couldn't scale this up even further. I mean, unless you already have all the business you can handle.
Oh, no. No,
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 you
no.
want more, of course.
I'm looking to scale.
Yeah. Okay. Hard to do that if you're just going about it the same way, with those getting people's email addresses at the speaking gigs. So I definitely suggest doing the quiz, trying that out to see how it works, and putting it right on your site, and then from there, obviously, you deliver the results, and then you deliver helpful pieces of content week after week until they can kind of realize, hey, Ramona knows what she's talking about. I might as well just give her a call and have her train me for real, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's dive in here. So I have a few things to talk about. First things first, this Let's Talk box right here, that popped up for me the second I got to your site, which is a little premature. You don't want to bombard people right away with that because they're probably not ready for that yet. So go ahead, and if you're going to have something like this, what I like to do is either time it for an exit intent, so when you're mousing back up toward the back button, it pops up, or it's timed for, let's say they're on your site for 60 seconds or 2 minutes. Now is a better time to kind of say, hey, looks like you're here. What can I help you with? Does that make sense?
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
And next, I want to talk about this hero section up here. So the hero area is just what we call the main top photo above the fold on a website. There's a few things that I feel like are missing here. So in the hero area, it needs to always answer 3 questions. What do you do? Why does that matter to your clients? And what do I need to do to take the next step? I'm getting none of that here. So, and what I'm also getting, you're a lovely woman, Ramona, but this I think that the picture of you should come a little lower down on the page, because what's happening here, this is a really common thing that a lot of businesses do, especially when it's a personal brand kind of business. What you're doing here by putting yourself front and center is you're basically inserting yourself as the hero in your customer's story, when they're the hero of their own story, and you are the mentor that's helping them get there. So really, what I generally like to see and what does better is more of an image representing your client succeeding. And then if we can take it a step further, I've found this part right here. Let me show you how to market your business by using social media effectively. That, or a version of that, should be your headline up here. Okay? Yeah, so you're telling them what you do, but I wouldn't even phrase it like, let me show you. I would just say, learn how to market your business by using social media effectively. And then a little bit more context right underneath it. And I wouldn't introduce yourself just yet. In this section, so like this headline would go up top, then in this section, you'd want to address the main pain point that your client is going through. Why even bother learning social media? Like, what's to lose if they don't? Paint that picture, and then introduce yourself and say, but I'm Ramona, and I'm here to show you the real way. Right?
Okay.
So you're painting the picture of why they need this, and then you're introducing yourself as the solution to their problem. Okay?
Okay.
So what is that main problem? What would you tell them is the main reason they would even need your services?
So the main reason is that my people, like I said, a lot of them are new businesses. So what they don't get is why they should be using social media to begin with.
Right.
So that's the biggie. They don't think that they need social media. What's the point?
Yeah.
So,
but I would challenge that a little bit, because if they're on your site, that tells me that they do want to learn this, right? They just don't know.
What happens is they land on my site because I'm a SCORE partner. So SCORE has a bunch of workshops for small businesses. So they end up on my site because they may have a SCORE mentor, and the mentor tells them to, they refer them to me. So they come to my site, and then they might set up a free 15-minute consultation. And their question is, I'm not sure why he told me to call you. I'm starting a new business, XYZ. I'm not even sure I want to use social media, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So,
Okay. Well, and I think what might help solve that problem for you is if you use that lead magnet, the quiz, and if you were to run Facebook ads to it with people who are already kind of interested in that, and they'll take the quiz, and now they're kind of in your sphere of influence at that point. So you might want to do what you can to kind of attract those people in who are already halfway there, that already know that they kind of have a problem.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you'd be much more likely to get those people, right? I feel like it's hard sometimes because trust me, I've gotten a few clients who come to me saying, someone told me I need a website. I don't want a website, but they tell me I need one. And those jobs never work out. Like those end up pretty bad. I'm not saying that's what happens with you. I'm sure it turns out fine, but just saying it's good to get people who come in knowing your value, right?
Yes. And I have a quick question for you. Where would you put the quiz on the website?
Well, it would be on its own page, but just about every page on the website would have a little section letting them opt into it at the bottom of the page. So you're giving like on the homepage, you're giving all the information laid out, making your case of why they would want to hire you. Then at the bottom, you've got that opt-in thing it's basically saying, you've come this far, you're not convinced yet, but hey, how about this free thing that'll help you on your way? So it's kind of a one last ditch attempt. And then I also, maybe rather than that contact pop-up that came up, maybe you have an exit intent pop-up that's meant to relate to that freebie. So when people are about to bounce off, then they get that thing popping up saying, hey, before you go, here's a quiz that might put you on the right path. But the actual quiz itself should be on its own page, its own flow, and you don't ask for their email address until you're about to give the results. So you make them go through all the steps of everything. You're much more likely, because they're time committed at that point. They've taken the time to fill out those answers, so they're a lot less likely to abandon ship, if you will, once they've already done that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, cool. I really want to talk about your navigation here because it's really busy. There's a lot of stuff here. So what I would ask you, what up here do you think is necessary information for someone to feel comfortable enough to schedule a consultation with you?
So the about, the workshops, the services.
So explain to me what a workshop is. So you basically, are you doing online workshops where a bunch of people kind of conference in?
I do group in-person trainings. So I do them in different cities. So it's not always in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And I also do one-on-one training.
Okay.
And then I do webinars as well.
Okay. What I might do then is under services, you could have, say, one-on-one training, group coaching by city, and then the webinars. So we would want to do a little bit of work up here, and that would take a little bit of time to kind of really prioritize what's necessary and what's needed. I would definitely say something about pricing is going to be on people's mind. And while you can't maybe list out exact prices, I do find it helpful to at least list ranges and give ballpark pricing. That's going to eliminate a lot of headaches of you having to talk to people that aren't really ready for you. And
so actually, if they click on one of those links, the price comes up before they schedule.
Okay, and that's great, but it's a little buried. I think it should be something that's kind of its own tab because people are going to wonder about it. And then so like blog probably doesn't need to be up here because it's not really necessary for getting them to get in touch with you. Resources, is there a reason why this should be up top that you can think of?
Nope.
Okay, so anything that, good, we're making progress already. So anything that you don't think is absolutely necessary to be up top goes right down in the footer in the secondary navigation, okay? Yeah, so like there's a lot of stuff that a website can have, but most websites are just saying way too much stuff. And the more you say, the more you're confusing people. So keep it really simple. Keep all the information you can on your homepage in a really kind of laid out top to bottom way. Basically saying, this is the problem you're having. I can solve it. Here's why I'm unique or different. Here's why my solution is different and better than other solutions you're likely to find out there. And then a testimonial or two. That's the stuff that's going to go a long way. And maybe some frequently asked questions at the bottom of the homepage as well, designed to actually answer real questions and to overcome objections.
So yeah, my testimonials are at the bottom.
And I would probably eliminate all of this stuff because it's just it's good. It's authority building. But what I would do is when you introduce yourself on here, have one great picture of you like speaking or something where you're on a stage. That one image will give you a lot of authority, and you don't need much more than that. Because when you start using like photo galleries, people get a little lost because there's like so much going on, and now they're looking at pictures, and now they're not on the path to making a consultation with you. Okay. Oh, I remember seeing this before. I want to address this before we go. So these are testimonials, but they're marked as different roles you have. So basically, this testimonial is about you as a social media panelist. This one's about you as a social media consultant. But it took me a minute to kind of figure that out. So
Okay.
it's not very clear right away that these are testimonials. So what I would, because the icons are not necessarily lining up as testimonials, and include a picture of each person that gave you a testimonial. It makes it seem much more authentic.
Oh yeah. Oh no. So actually, the pictures are at the bottom with the testimonial. So, do you suggest that I just put a description of the speaking engagement?
No.
Or something under there, or just remove that?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think that's getting into like information overload territory, unless you think it's really important and you know your business better than I do. We've only kind of just met. It would take more digging to kind of really figure that out. I can just give you kind of a really baseline level first glance impressions here. But in general, you want to just tell a really succinct story about why they want you without overloading them with too much information before they need it.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Cool, Ramona. Well, that's about all the time we've got today, but thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been awesome talking with you.
All right. Thanks, Wes. I appreciate you.
All right, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and click on the circle icon right down here to subscribe. And if you're interested in getting my eyeballs on your website, I do offer a limited number of private Kickstart calls where we can go over your site, talk about any problems you're having, and you can get that by clicking right up here. All right, guys, I'm Wes McDowell for The Deep End, and I'll see you in our next video.